They are deep, they are massive, they are sophisticated, they are like something out of a science fiction movie, and there are multiple such facilities. And that's just one example of one class of the major underground facilities that you would find around the country, and I presume around the world.
I have no doubt that Colorado's instrumental. Didn't Obama sign one of the first important bills out in Colorado?
I don't recall, but whether he did or not, that region, the Rocky Mountain region in general, is important. I don't know if it'll do them any good, because what's coming in terms of the natural earth changes, my sense from my visions, my dreams, and even reading the signs of the times, reading the headlines, and carefully sifting the wheat from the chaff and information flow on the internet, it's clear to me that big trouble lies just ahead. And whether or not the powers that be and their various minions will fare nearly so well as they hope they will or believe they may in the coming time of turmoil very much remains to be seen. I suspect, for a wide variety of reasons, not least of which would be karmic, that they may be in for a very, very rough time, both individually and collectively.
I find it interesting that Dick Cheney was rumored to have been building underneath his house. I guess there were explosions or rumors of explosions. Now, does it make sense that he would want his own shelter rather than waving his golden ticket to join the rest of the Klan?
Yeah, well, you see, Dick Cheney is an insider's insider. He's not currently, doesn't currently hold any open official political position in the American system of governance. Joseph Biden, the former senator from Delaware, is vice president at present. But you're right, when Dick Cheney was vice president, there was a lot of very heavy construction activity that went on and on for weeks and months at the vice presidential mansion, which is on the grounds of the United States Naval Observatory in the northwest sector of Washington, D.C. I cover that in some detail in my book, Hidden in Plain Sight, Beyond the X-Files. At the same period of time, there was some other very peculiar construction activity that the Navy carried out. Both of these were Navy, United States Navy construction projects, and the Navy carried out another very highly secret construction project right on the shores of the Potomac River, not too far from, I believe it was pretty close to the Jefferson Memorial. And my best guess is that this was related, both of these construction projects were related to the deep underground labyrinth of tunnels and facilities that underlies official Washington, D.C. And in Cheney's case, I don't doubt whatsoever that he was having a high-speed, deep underground elevator constructed so that he would not have to motorcade over to the White House to take a high-speed elevator to the deep underground tunnel network beneath Washington, D.C. I'm pretty sure if there was not already a high-speed elevator from the vice presidential mansion, that they were either installing one for the first time or greatly upgrading an already existing elevator and making it faster and better.
Thank you. You've alluded to dark, strange beings. Do you think there might be humanoid beings walking among us, or are you leaning toward interdimensional beings exerting control over the human population? Perhaps it's both.
Yeah, I think it's likely to be both. There's plenty of anecdotal evidence that these so-called Nordic extraterrestrials who look like Northern European types. They're tall, well-proportioned, fair-haired for the majority of them. In other words, they'd fit right in Norway or Sweden or Germany or Poland or Great Britain, someplace like that, Belgium, Holland. They're good looking, they're tall, and they have a technology that rings around the technology that we have, at least in our everyday lives here in the world that we know, most of us. So I think they're here, and I think that those Nordic, Northern European types have been here for a long time. I think there are others as well, some of which disguise themselves perhaps using cloaking technology, which could be mental technology or non-mental technology, other types of physical technology, perhaps electronic technology that they use to conceal themselves as they walk amongst us. And as for our dark beings, so-called fallen spiritual entities who seek to subvert humanity to their will or feed off of in a vampiric kind of way, yeah, I think there's plenty of evidence for the existence of that type of entity as well. The important thing for the aware human being is to be as conscious as possible so that you are alert to other beings and entities around you, both benevolent and malevolent. You want to avoid the malevolent ones, of course, and to cooperate with and interact with the benevolent ones as much as possible.
Thank you. Also on Coast to Coast, you mentioned that humans have what amounts to magical powers of consciousness, that the organization or puppet masters are afraid of us. Can you explain what makes humans divine and give examples along with practical ways of developing these powers?
Yeah, I think what makes us divine, when you get right down to it, is our DNA. We have kind of a God antenna inside of us that is constantly both receiving divine energy and transmitting it by the aegis of the DNA, under the aegis of the DNA. I think the DNA is like a divine hyperdimensional molecule that's been put inside of us that connects us to our soul, and our soul essentially is a divine spark, a chip off of the block, creative block, if you will. That's the creative impulse, the cosmic impulse behind the totality of the universe. And so we have that. It's hardwired into us through our DNA. And at the physical level, which is another way of saying we're not so physical as all that if we have DNA in us. But the DNA kind of plugs us into a soul, and maybe it's the other way around. The soul plugs into the physical realm through the DNA and activates our physical bodies through the DNA, hand-in-glove fashion. So we do have, because of this hyperdimensional aspect of our being, from the inside out, a sort of magical capability. Now, hollow beings don't have this. They have to fake it or steal it or take it from someone else or mooch off of another being who does have it, thereby lowering the vital life force of that being and artificially enhancing their own or juicing themselves up, so to speak, at the expense of the other more natural, God-infused entity, if you will. And that's what a natural human being is, God-infused. So they fear that. These hollow beings fear the Creator. They want to flee from the Creator. They, for whatever reason, have turned against that divine impulse and want to quash it, want to thwart it, want to work against it. For the life of me, I don't understand this, but this is part and parcel of the machine's agenda. It is bound and determined to, in my view, kill biological life, because biological life has DNA in it, and DNA is a hyperdimensional molecule. It's like the hotline, the God hotline, if you will. It plugs us in to the very highest levels of hyperdimensional reality in the universe, right up to the God levels. And I don't know, that's why we're divine. I don't know why they fear it. So to my way of thinking, they should seek ways in which they themselves could plug in, but maybe they're so far fallen that possibility is no longer available to them. So then that's truly sad, and their fate is not going to be a happy one, because at the end, my understanding is whatever quantum of cosmic life energy remains in them will be taken back to the creative source, conscious, hyperconscious creative source of the universe, which you can call God or whatever you want, the creator. But their rejection by this point may be so total that there's no hope for them, and that's why they try to suck off of us, so to speak. Now, how do you develop your God connection, so to speak? Telling the truth is one extremely important way to do that. I think it was Jesus who observed that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So being truthful is real important. Real important. Let me repeat. Telling the truth is real important. These hollow beings do not know the truth. The truth is not in them. We see that they lie all the time. In fact, they even lie when the truth would serve their purpose better. They are so devoted to the lie that they will even lie when the truth would advance their cause. That's how fallen they are. I don't pretend to understand it. I'm only describing what I see. They are sad, sad creatures. Now, another way that you can improve your God connection is by asking. Ask the Creator. Dear Creator, improve my connection with you. I want to improve my connection with you. I thank you for creating me. I thank you for giving me a mind and a soul and a life. Help me. Help me to know what to do, what to think, how to live. I mean, here again, you're talking about Jesus, who says, ask and it shall be given to you. So you were created with a mouth. My understanding is the universe is holographic, at least in part, and for all I know, totally so. So that being true, you can pretty well just talk out loud, and the universe will listen to you. The very atoms in the wall of your room will listen to you. So you could address the atoms and say, look, I want to communicate with the highest divine level that I'm capable of communicating in my present state of being, and here's what I want to communicate. Gratitude. Thanks for being created. How many people say thank you to the Creator, to the universe, for creating them? Astonishingly, comparatively few people do.
Now, by them, the hollow ones, feeding off of us, sounds like they need us in some fashion. Dr. Joseph Farrell and Richard Hoagland, also Richard Dolan, often speak about a breakaway civilization or a parallel civilization. And perhaps they'll have to take a good number with us to continue to feed. Does any of your research tie into this?
Yeah, I agree. I do think that there is a parallel civilization, one or more, by the way. I think that we even could have a relict, R-E-L-I-C-T, a parallel or breakaway civilization going back to the time of Atlantis and further. And that would include elements from the time of ancient Egypt from 5,000 to 10,000 years ago.